So we continue, and it says, Shlomo HaMelech wrote further, even if his actions may the youth be recognized, whether his acts of the pure and upright. So it's from Mishle 20, verse 11. The pasuk refers to the evaluating youths. So what does it mean? Being that their traits are discernible even when they have been very young, right? So we had this question from today. You see, all the answers in this book. Not in the books, in even introduction, when person remember his youth, and he said, I had this, I remember this trait even from my youth. Okay. Some youth manifest the trait of shame, right? Others that of arrogance. Some are inclined toward desires, and others are inclined toward the virtuous qualities. Know that all of traits that man displays from his adolescence through the old age were present is his childhood and his youth. So again, they did not come from nothing. Okay, it is just as as at the time he did not have the power to reveal them and to bring them to actuality. And those youths who have been overcome by corruption may yet be diverted to the right paths, for they are amendable to reprimand. Very interesting, and they like the strength and cleverness to escape their reprimander. They must bear his reproof. But in old age, one is not easily diverted from the early orientation, and at that stage, one may be compared to silver tray that was burnt. To the silver tray that is buried in the ground and acquired a thick tarnish. Such silver requires polishing. After polishing, before it can regain the original luster. So that with a man who has followed his way and custom, and has become steeped in the depth of inferior traits, he must polish in double quotes, his mind and distinguish between good and evil, the impure and pure, and habituate himself to divine source until the positive traits are implanted and embedded in his heart. Let's go over this piece and we're going to explain. So this piece from the beginning. Okay, so again, Shlomo HaMelech wrote further, even in his actions, may the youth be recognized, right? Whether his acts for pure and upright. So there we have a commentary. So we're talking about young people, babies, that it's very important what kind of teacher they have in childhood. Teacher could be teacher in a Talmud Torah, or even their parents are also teachers. What they write on this pure piece of paper, they call it board. Commentary. In trying to evaluate the motivation behind personal actions, the Torah advises us to examine his earlier actions, right? As we said today, for in them will he find the true character manifestation. So if it's possible, for example, as I said, I don't remember anything, almost anything from my childhood. Right, so for me to examine is mission impossible. That some people remember all the details when they were 3 years old, 1 year. Like how I always wonder how you remember. You were in a crib and you remember what people say. You say, yeah, I remember exactly. I mean, not everything, like every day of their life, but some conversation. I mean, for me, it's I don't know how is it possible. Right. So meaning what? So like all of the bad characters, so characters, they have the roots in the early actions. Okay. For example, when Moshe struck down the Egyptian, was beaten a Jew, right? It's Shmos 2 and verses 11 through 12. Moshe's motivation was to love of justice, integrity, and uprightness. The question, was the Moshe's motivation his love of justice, integrity, or uprightness, or it was revenge and haughtiness? Right, so he killed this Egyptian. So why? Because he was trying to prevent justice, or because this person because he wanted to take revenge. Okay. The answer lies in the beginning of the pasuk when it says, "And Moshe grew up and went out to his brethren and absorbed their brethren burdens. So meaning he grew up in the palace of Pharaoh, and he went and absorbed their burdens, right? How they suffer. Meaning most likely it's the first answer. Even as a prince, Moshe felt the pain and anguish of his fellow men and joined them in suffering. Right, he's prince, but he still knew that he was a Jew because he grew up in his own house until the age of 3. Sufferings. This proves that the essence of Moshe was not haughtiness and selfishness, meaning that from his previous actions, right? But rather humility and compassion and goodness. This shows that the action he took against the Egyptian was motivated by his integrity and love of justice, Malbim. Okay, so it's one of the examples. Again, if as a person said in that question, if he remember exactly or she remembers exactly how they behave in childhood, and they have this character traits, of course, it helps a lot, but does not it's not going to work out for all of the people. But in this case, it's clear, right? Clear parallel why he acted like this way. So it's right. So continue. The pasuk refers to evaluating the youths, being that their traits are discernible, even when they are very young. Meaning that traits, maybe it's like right. So maybe meaning that even when a person is young, he can be very greedy. Right, of course he does not. He wants all the candies, and he puts in his pockets and his shoes or under his pillow, and he collects. So you see and you ask him for one, he's not going to give you, right? So because he's greedy. So you see this bad character. So this little children, it's little adults. Okay, continue. Some use manifest the trait of shame. Right, when they say, "How could you done that?" Okay, others saw that of the arrogance. So whatever we tell them, they're not going to back down. Right, some incline toward desire. So they always up to they desire. They want to eat. They want to sleep. They want to enjoy themselves. Always. They make their parents as slaves. And others are inclined toward the virtuous qualities. So he wants to help mother, right? To do other things, right? So she wants to light the candles, the little one, right? Know that all of the traits the man displays from the adolescence through his old age were present in the childhood from his youth. So all of the traits were there, unless they most likely maybe it's they not manifested as much, but there was some presence, right? And now they just came to fruition. It is just that the time did not at that time, he did not have the power to reveal them and to bring them to actuality because he was little. But now he's independent, so now now they are revealed. And those youths who have been overcome by corruption may yet be diverted from to the right path. So even though it's a job of the teacher, of the parent, to see if you see in this youth some kind of corruption, right? There is a still chance, since they're little, to send them to correct them, send them to the right path. Right? How? For they're amenable to reprimand. So this, since he did not sin so much, and he does not have this Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara comes a little later, right? When they 13 or 12 for girls. So they're amenable to reprimand. So many mean what? That you can rebuke them, and they lack the strength of cleverness to escape their reprimander. So they don't have power. It's like to avoid this person, to answer him, to be brazen, right? And they must bear the reproof, meaning that they heard the reproof, and there is a big possibility that probability that they might change. But in old age, right, one is not easily diverted from his early orientation. So, but in olden age, person is not going to acknowledge just because you tell them that there is truth, that he's a sinner, she's a sinner. And that does not mean that they run into to change, right? At that stage, one may be compared to the silver tray that was buried in the ground and acquired thick tarnish. So silver, even if it just stays there, you don't use this. You have a silver tray, for example, right? So even without burning in the ground. So needless to say, if it was exposed to all of these elements, so it acquired a thick tarnish, and you have to clean it, right? Polish it. Takes you a very long time. Before it can regain this original luster. So it would be, so since it was this bad condition, so you need to work very, very hard. So same with this person, he's elderly, right? To convince them to change his ways, and even if he wants to, but not so much, not so fast, and stuff like that. Much harder. So with the man who has followed his way and custom, and becomes steeped in the depth of inferior traits. So for many years, becomes his character. And he must polish in double quotes, his mind to distinguish between good and evil. So now on this guy, you have to work very, very hard. And improve his pure and he must polish his mind, distinguish between good and evil, and the pure and the impure and pure. So now, it would take us very long time, because for him, the things is mixed up. He does not know what is good, what is bad. So right, because he behaved all of his life differently, and habituate himself to divine source until the positive traits implanted and embedded in his heart. So is it possible for a person who is in years to change, who was a habitual sinner? Yes, it is possible, but it's not so easy. Okay. So next piece, and it says this book is called Books of Trades. So this book, what is it? A book, Orchos Tzaddikim, right? So meaning the books of trades. Okay. It was written and sealed with a signet of ring of wisdom to teach men knowledge, to be in his hand, to be in the hand of each man as a tool, with which he can correct his trait and his deeds. So these books is our guidance, right, to work on our character traits and how to fix them. Right, a craftsman who possesses the tool of his trade can do his work, but lacking them, he cannot do. He can do nothing. So I mean, if like some precise tools, right? So he said, "Oh, if I only have my tool bag with me, right? Toolbox. Somebody have bags, somebody have box. Therefore, hear my son Mussar, and take the tool of your trade in your hand and correct your trades." So meaning the Mussar is the only tool that can fix our character traits. Is it not evident that one who possesses many coins, small and large, but does not know their value and worth, will not know what to buy with each and every which until he learned the value of each coin. So as we said before, I mean we're going to repeat with our going over, right? And he must also know which coin the king has invalidated, forbidding its use as a legal tender. We're going to explain. Actually, I learned it with in my morning class. So in morning class we go over Rambam twice a week. We go over Rambam. Okay, we just learned it like I think last week we learned. Only after he's weighted and evaluated each coin will he know how to derive the proper value from each. And as for the coin, for which the king has decreed a fine against anyone who issued, he will be careful to use it only in a manner that will not make the liable for any penalty. The end result will be that this man will derive good and joy from each of his coins. But the fool who neither weighs nor evaluates and uses what the king has invalidated, there is no question that he will suffer great loss. And you, my son, take this analogy that compares to you many to your many traits, great and small, and weight each trait on a scale of your wisdom until you know the value of each. Know that each trait the king has invalidated. Which trait king has invalidated? King means Hashem, and be careful that those evil traits will not be seen in you or found in your heart, except in such instances that will not cause you loss or a penalty. By doing so, you will attain perfection, and you will be the worker with the tools of your trade in your hand. We would now like to inform you the root of the trades and the branches and their benefit and their dangers. And our intention is to turn man's nature from the foolishness to love of Mussar, and from the simple ones. And the simple ones will strive to know wisdom, and from Hashem of exalted name will ask assistance that he can make known to us the upright ways and their paths of righteousness, so that we may teach the tribes of Yeshurun the assembly of kindness and walk in them. Okay, so let's try to go over this piece. 1 second, from where we should start. 1 second. Okay, so we start from here. And it says, this book is called the Book of Traits, right? It's a book of character traits, and every character traits he calls a gate, because it's much like it's not only like it's like a subject of its own, basically. It was written and sealed with the signet of ring of the wisdom. So meaning the author said like I took everything from existing sources, right? Wisdom to teach men knowledge, to be in the hand of each man as a tool. So the meaning this book is a tool, how to change ourselves, how to to filter out what is not good for us, with which he can correct his traits and his deeds. So here we have a commentary. Libraries are filled with how-to books. Books on how to do plumbing, painting, gardening, and so on. Millions of dollars and hours are spent every day by people trying to make repairs and improvements in and around their homes, right? Businesses and the cars, all for the sake of materialistic part of their lives, right? So far sounds familiar. We spend countless hours, and countless amount of money, right, to try to improve this, fix things, right? Material things, which is stays here, but spiritual things not so much. That's we see exactly what he is leading us, right? All these things may be important, however, they are all materialistic nonsenses. Materialistic nonetheless. Right? They're important, but they're materialistic. Moreover, though these are all things that can be done by someone else, be it our friend, relative, or professional, right? So these things that to fix our house, to paint it, so you can delegate somebody else, okay, right? Okay, to pay somebody, right? But you cannot pay anybody to change your personal character traits, right? Additionally, when one undertakes to do something, there is no guarantee that the result will be favorable. Right? Just because you decided to fix your something piece of equipment does not mean that you're going to succeed. For example, you have a refrigerator and you have so now all of the not all in some brands in the States they come with a Shabbos mode in Sabbath mode, they call it Shabbos mode in refrigerator, and there is they give you the manual. So now the manual how to turn it on, and we recently had the issue, right? Try to help to turn on the Shabbos mode, and all of I entered somebody asked me to look up on the internet, so I found the manual on the internet, all the manuals on the internet, and I found the presentations and how to turn a Shabbos mode. And guess what? This refrigerator that does not have these buttons, so it's newer model, whatever is it, so whatever they suggest, it's not there. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting, very very frustrating. So just because what is it says, just because you want to do something does not mean that you're going to be successful. Whatever we do, perfection of midas, however, difference in many ways from the above examples. First of all, when we endeavor to perfect our midas, it is not for the sake of spiritual part of our lives. Okay, so when you try to fix materialistic things, maybe you're going to be successful, maybe not. Right. Just 1 second. So, but perfection of the midas differs in many ways from above examples, from self-help books. Right? How? First of all, when we endeavor to perfect our midas, it is for the sake of our spiritual part of our lives. So when we perfect our midas, it's not for the physical part, it's for the spiritual part, which is more important. Secondly, so that's a big difference. Secondly, it is something that obviously must be done by the individual himself, right? Meaning that perfecting our character traits we cannot delegate. And actually, it was part of my question. I don't remember the answer. It was, I don't remember the question, but the point was that we cannot help somebody to do things for them. They have to walk the walk. Okay, you can advise person, but this hand holding hands is not going to work so well. Even though you mean well and you think that you're able to help, a person has to do his job or her job on their own. Although one must always seek advice and counsel from the others, right? The initiative and actual work can only be done for oneself, right? So meaning initiative. So yeah, of course you can ask advice. So, but advice does not mean that the person is going to do it for you, right? He told you or she told you what needs to be done, but the initiative. So initiative meaning the willingness to start working on yourself must come from a person. And the actual work must be done by the person themselves. You cannot hire somebody. Moreover, when it comes to tikkun hamidos, right, perfection of the character traits, tikkun hamidos, as in all area of the spiritual growth, we are guaranteed that our efforts will be met with success. In fixing your bicycle, maybe you're going to be successful, maybe not. Right? But in finding the Shabbos mode in the refrigerator, maybe you're going to be successful or not. But when you work on your in the character traits, spiritual growth, guarantee our efforts will be met with success. How is it possible? And that says here, the Gemara states, and Rabbi Yitzchak said, if someone tells you, I labor and did not succeed, do not believe in him. Right? If he tells you, I have not labored and yet I have succeeded, do not believe him. If, however, he tells you, I have labored and I have succeeded, you may believe him. It's from Megillah 6b, meaning spiritual efforts, Hashem is going to approve and help us, right? See also, it's yourself to the beautiful explanation and insight of the above Gemara. Okay. This being the case, how much more so it is the incumbent upon every person whose goals are spiritual growth to take advantage of the how-to book as a tool for correction of his character. So how-to books is this book, right? So if that book, all of the technical books, maybe it's going to work out, maybe not. Maybe you're going to be successful, maybe not. Like all these how-to videos, it's very simple. And I remember I was trying to fix our dryer, right? And guess what? And they said, no, I'm going to give you big secrets. It's only 3 places. And guess what? And I check all the 3 places. And the guys said, no, it's 7 places. And he shows 7 places. And I learned how to test the 7 places. I check all of them. It was not there. Okay, so I mean, just because you have tools, just because you have knowledge, just because you have advice, does not mean that you're going to find the issue. Right. A craftsman who possesses the tools in his trade can do his work. By lacking them, he cannot do nothing, right? He cannot do anything, right? Right. So if you have correct tools, you can do your job, but if not, not. Therefore, hear my son Mussar, and take the tool of your trade to your hand and correct your trades. Meaning, here Mussar, and this book is going to be the one who help us to change our character traits and lead us to the right direction. Is it not evident that one who possesses many coins, small and large, but does not know that the value and the worth will not know what to buy with each until he learns the value of the coins, right? And I think in all the countries, sometimes like smaller coins are bigger. So for example, in the States, you have 5 cents. It's much bigger than 10 cents, even though 10 cents is a greater value, right? So unless, but he would say, yeah, it's 5 cents is bigger, but must be more important, which is not true. So until a person learn the value of these coins, so he is most likely is going to make mistakes. So same is here. And he must also know which coins the kings invalidated, forbidding the use as a legal tender. And this piece, as I said, we're going to explain. Actually, I learned it from Rambam. I would not know what does it mean. So in the olden days, the kings would stamp the coin with their own image, right? So, for example, if a king usurped the throne. So he does not want these coins from the previous king being in circulation. So meaning that they would put a steep fine on somebody who would use the old coins. So they had to come to the king and exchange old coins into new coins. You understand? So if somebody is trying to use the old coins, it's forbidden. So meaning if a person does not know that these coins are forbidden, he tried to trade with them, he can be arrested and they can confiscate this money, right? Because lack of knowledge. Only after, just because it was in use 6 months ago, and he was in the country, but he left on the business, come back, so it does not mean they're in use today. Only after he has weighed it and evaluated each coin will he know how to derive the proper value from each, right? Somebody taught him value of each coin. Only then he would know how to use them. And as to the coin, for which the king has decreed a fine against anyone who issued it, he will be careful to use only in a manner that will not make the liable for penalty, right? So the example that we gave, right? So meaning maybe between the friends or somebody is going to to different country and he's going to trade there, and there in different country they still accept the old coins. So that's would be exception. The end result will be that this man will derive good and joy from each of his coins. But the fool who neither waits nor evaluates, right? So meaning that he lives his life nothing matters except his physical desires. The use is what the king has invalidated, and there is no question that he will suffer great loss. Meaning, right? So the king would arrest him, right? The police would arrest him and confiscate all of the coins as a punishment because of his fool. And you, my son, take this analogy that compares to you many traits, great and small, and weigh each trait on the scale of your wisdom, right? Until you know the value of each. So meaning all of these traits and danger of not having its in correct measure. So it's going to be explained in this book. So we have to evaluate and change it if needed. Know which trait is a great king. So meaning Hashem invalidated, meaning Hashem said this character traits is not good, right? And be careful with those traits that will not sin in you, sin in you, or found in your heart, except in such instances, meaning this character traits that Hashem said not to have, right? Except some instances that will not cause you the loss or penalty, right? So I mean, this arrogance, for example, in expressing the arrogance in the proper place. But doing so, you will attain perfection, and you will be the worker with the tools of your trade in your hand, right? So meaning when you have your tools you can do everything, right? Tools here is the spiritual tools to fix ourselves. Almost finished. We would now like to inform you of the root of the traits and their branches. So now, he's going to go in all of the details of each traits and where the roots, where it coming from, then branches, extensions of these character traits, their benefit and their damages. And our intent is to inform man's nature, right? Nature from foolishness. To turn man's nature from foolishness to love of Mussar, right? So, right, and so we see from here the person who's rejected Mussar, so he's called fool, right? By who? By this author of Orchos Tzaddikim. Very interesting. and that the simple ones will strive to know wisdom. So even the simple one, because a person does not know better. So now he's going to learn what Hashem does not like, what coin the king invalidates, so he will try not to use it. And from Hashem of exalted name, we ask assistance to make us known, to make known to us the upright ways and the path of righteousness. So we ask Hashem always, just because we have text in front of us, so we ask the assistant to read it correctly, to understand it correctly, and evaluate our character traits correctly, so that we may teach the tribes of Yeshurun, the assembly of kindness, to walk in them. Right, so we can teach others and change ourselves. So that's and we finish with introduction. And the first gate, so we're going to leave it for another time. Share Hagava, right? So meaning the trait of haughtiness. Trait of haughtiness. Okay, but we stop here. So let's see what time is it. Okay, so I think we have a new questions. Okay, so new questions. What age should one start teaching Mussar to his children today? Any age is of course when child is small, so you teach them on a level that they do understand, and you can tell them if there is no the explanation is very hard, so you tell them that Hashem, our God, does not like it. Okay, so that's many times for the spirit children, that's enough, and enough explanation. So don't go too deep, right? When they grow a little older, you can teach them more deeper explanation, but in simple level, they would listen. Of course, the nature of child he wants to do good. So next one, I wonder if Kiruv would help a person to be judged favorably when given an account in Shamayim for unfixed, unworked character trait, the same way it does for the sins committed, but help others to do to show to the. It's not such an easy question. It's not. So again, wonder if doing kiruv would help a person to be judged favorably when given an account in Shamayim for unfixed, unworked character traits. The same way it does for sins he committed, but help other to do to show. And that's a totally different thing. So when person, so I start from the end. So in order to compare. So when person did the sins, right, in whatever area, right, and then he did to show, but some sins are not fixable. I mean, not fixable, because whatever reasons. For example, a person was promiscuous, or a person wasted seed. I mean, go fix it. How are you going to fix? Of course, a person did to show, but that's very limited. Right, so it's impossible to do damage. So in this case, yes, they say if you do kiruv and other people are stopped, they was thinking to make the same sin, but they did not because of you. So that's very commendable. That's very good, absolutely, and it's going to help us in a day of judgment. But if person did not fix character traits, but he was doing kiruv, it's not going to help him, because of the first responsibility person has for his own file, not for others. So yes, to help others is very good, but I have to first fix myself. It's like these people who think that they can buy Hashem, and they give a lot of tzedakah, but they being wicked people, right? Of course, Hashem is going to pay them off in this life, right? But they don't have a world to come with all their achievements. So the examples that we gave today, that person is going to read, the person is going to be taught in Shamayim all the Torah that he was sponsoring, only if he was a righteous person himself. Okay, he was not a big Talmid Chacham, he was a working man, a businessman, but he kept Shabbos, he observed all the mitzvahs, so he did not do anything for which to send him to seventh chamber. So of course there is some deficiencies, and he was going to be cleansed for it. But otherwise, he's more or less righteous person. Yeah, this person, yeah, for sure, he's going to get rewards. But if he was Michal Shabbos, there is no way this tzedakah there is not going to help him. Okay, Hashem is going to pay him off in this world, so he's going to make him very rich person for sure, right? So first, our responsibility to for ourselves. First, we have to fix ourselves. But if you work on yourself and you know where you're going through, and you can help others, there is one thing. But if you say no, I'm not going to do anything, right? I'm going to help all the Klal Israel. That's not productive for you. It's not going to help in any way. It's like this person who just gives tzedakah and tries to buys him his lamaba, right? It's not going to work out so well. So it's very important. So we work on self. We can do it parallel, but not instead of. Instead of does not work. Right? As he actually explains, for other things, to fix your car, you can hire somebody, but you cannot hire somebody to change your character traits. Right. Okay, so next question. Rabbi, if I remember correctly, the Mishnah in Avos says one of the ways to acquire Torah is love and rebuke, right? You remember correctly. That what strategies can we use to accept the rebuke rather than being such a person that will ask how he can improve? Then when the told how he told how, he replies, "Oh, I cannot do anything about it." Okay. So let's do from the beginning. If I remember correctly, the Mishnah says one of the way to acquire Torah is love and the rebuke. So I mean, we said it today. I mean, it was said in one sentence, but we elaborated in all the details. A person cannot acquire the Torah if he did not did not fix his character. So we said it today, right? And in order to fix our character traits, so a person must love rebuke, meaning accept rebuke and have a willingness to change, right? What strategies can we use to accept rebuke rather than being such a person? So what strategy would learn this book? So I mean, it does not have to come. Rebuke does not mean that we ask people, tell me what's wrong with me. Okay, maybe a million have things are wrong with you, but it's better to evaluate yourself based on this text, right? So before you go to any person, try to read, try to study and see what deficiencies we have. So you see and underline, okay, that's me. I get now number 17 and me, and 18 is me, and 3 is me, and 1 is me, and everything. Basically, the whole book is about me. Okay, so that's rebuke, accepting rebuke. So meaning that the person acknowledges that I have these issues. That's what it is. Right. Want to be in such a person that asks how to improve itself and told and when told, he replies, "Oh, I cannot do anything about it." I mean, Hashem created us, and if he expects us to change, so meaning it's up to the person. So meaning that person can change. Right. So next question, Rav, could you please tell us what the versions of Orchos Tzaddikim is? This Feldheim version? Yeah, it's Feldheim version. I'm not aware of others, but it's newer one. It says in all in one. There is this when I was about to buy like a different version, I don't know, from old edition, new edition. So, but this is the newest edition. It says complete in one volume. Looks like before it was in two. Right, so complete in one volume, and that's it. Okay, Feldheim. Okay, so next question. Question about midas. If you find it quite difficult to deal with people who are unorganized and easily distracted, and it makes us frequently feel disrespected and frustrated. It is from our gava. If we believe that a person is surely trying to be more organized, how can we better deal with people with very different personality than us? And don't take things personally when they repeatedly act in the same manner. I mean, it's a big challenge, right? So again, about the meanings. If you find it quite difficult to deal with people who are unorganized and easily distracted. So meaning unorganized. So we said we learned today at what? Person said, okay, can we learn for now at 12 p.m.? You say, yeah, let's learn at 12 p.m. So and you change your schedule, you did that, and you want to learn, have a call at 12 p.m. And guess what? 11:59, you're already calling the person because the person said that's what he or she wants to learn. And guess what? Person did not answer. And you call, okay, things happen. Then minutes later, okay, nothing. 15 minutes, an hour later, and say, no, I'm busy now. Okay. And then person calls you 5 p.m. back. Like, is it frustrating? For sure, it's frustrating. Like I did all of the changes, and now you tell me 5 p.m. like 5 hours later that you're not able to learn at 12. Like you're normal, so it's could be very very frustrating. So, right. So I guess the solution is if we can. So somebody's unorganized, so try to remind them, send them a message. Right, so 12 is coming in 20 minutes. Get ready. I'm going to call you. Right, some people easily decide that's a killer. Right, that they cannot focus on anything. Right, you ask them to do this like it's mission impossible. They do exactly opposite. And it may frequently feel disrespected and frustrated. So meaning if a person said, yeah, call me at 12. You call them at 12, they're not about it. It's for sure disrespect. A disrespect of your time, of your life, of anything, right? They do it on purpose? For sure not. So don't feel too much disrespected, but try to tell them that it's very important for you to start on time, right? And if they are committed to something, they deliver. It's very, very important. Some people, even though they're not very organized, but they will try to be organized with you. Right, at least something they can do. This frequently feel disrespected and frustrated. Is it from Gava? I don't think it's from Gava. Right, it's like we simply rely on other people because we have to work together, coordinate things, and they must be responsible. If we believe that a person is, I mean, so today, like I all this this unorganized people. I say, but you have a reminder, you have alarm clock. So I have my alarm clock is going to go off soon, right? Because it's the time when I usually get up, right? It's very interesting, right? So. You have a different alarm. The alarm does not only mean that only when you get up. Alarm could be like before your learning session to remind you, right? So, or it could be set at one time only, not only weekly days. Why? Because you need to call somebody, right? Respect his time, her time, and time. So, and you remind these people. But if they disrespect and they find it funny and cute, so it could be very annoying. Right, very annoying. If we believe a person is truly trying to be more organized. So truly, China is to set up reminders, set up alarms. So if you tell them 17 times or 37 times to set alarm, and they still, what time is it? 12? What do you mean 12? We've been learning at 12 for such a long time. Why asking them what time? Like, what are you, baby or something? Right? So that's could be frustrating. So is it they're trying? No, they're not trying. They just accepting themselves as they are, right? And they're not willing to work on themselves. That's a big problem, but it's a huge issue. Okay, so we have to rebuke them a little nicely. So look, I changed my schedule. We said at 12, so please, can you please be ready tomorrow at 12? Can you please set yourself a reminder? If you want, I can send you a text message. So, no, don't bother, so I can put myself a reminder. Guess what? They didn't do. Okay, so again, can you please do that? Okay, so you do a few times. If they do not understand, so like it could be very frustrating, and they're not trying. But sometimes they show up on time, and but their brain is not distracted and unprepared, which makes us still frustrated, right? Could Karav give some advice? Right. So meaning when they decided there is time. So yeah, right. So he said, if you want to learn with me, if you want to deal with me, so that's look, have to be respect my time, and I'm going to respect your time, of course. Right, but if not, so I mean, it's like it's a waste of time. Right. So and if a person did not pick up, so like just know that that's reality. It seems strange to me that love/lust could be a character trait. Can you expand on this, please? I mean, that's the whole gate. We're going to spend some hours to on it, but like in a nutshell, it is desire that prevent per person to making the right decisions, right? So how love is a character for sure. So purpose person is inclined to love, right? So some people fall in love is like every other day, right? Because that's how they are last for sure. Okay, but I mean, not sure. I mean, we should. We're going to stop soon, but we're going to expand these things in all of the details because it's very important character traits. And as we said today, it's one of these example that we gave how love can be mishandled, right? When a person loves women in general, and gaze in them. And at the end, he would do improper things. Okay, so I thought I thought Kirov one help someone fix. So Kirov one fix the same bad character he has. Will this have a person be judged favorably? So long as he's never left his bad trait unattended, despite of managing to fix it completely. Okay, so I mean that's a different story. So if a person started and he was sincere and tried to work on these character traits, but in the same time trying to fix others, so of course Hashem is going to send them assistance. But if he he's let it be. I better fix try to help others. That's the problem. And I have a clip about it. When what was the clip? And some people say no. I want to help others. Like you help others. You're such a big sinner. Of course you can. It's very noble idea to help others, but you help yourself. And so some people get offended, right, by this. Okay, but of course we said in nicer words, but many times like a person must take his personal life the first priority. Like I work on myself, and I start working on this midah myself, and then I can help others, but not the opposite, not helping others, and I'm going to be a sinner. First of all, we must know that it's not going to work out, guaranteed. So meaning that the soul of other person, that it feels on soul level that the person is a hypocrite, right? And it's not going to accept Mussar. And there are some people who trying to teach others, and guess what? They're not successful. Why? Because other soul, they feel he's a hypocrite, she's a hypocrite. Right, so that's the soul rejected. Even the all words he said exactly like as a book said, and everything correctly, and he smiled in the right place and in the right time, and had a joke in the right place, and it was funny, and he was very charismatic. But the other people do not learn. Why? Because of this. Because he himself has his deficiency, and he resolved not to work on it. Okay, so let me reset quickly. The next question. I have a question about midos. If we know someone with some precious midos that we try to learn from, and when spending time with that person and try to learn Torah together, we realize the study is not productive due to the personality and learning style differences, okay, which makes us quite frustrated, okay, because the person is not thinking in similar ways as we do. We worried that we would become proud through the learning together. However, we unexpectedly become more patient and more forgiving. Should we keep learning with that person? I need to read the minimum one time. Okay. So again, question about midas. If we know that someone, if we know someone with some precious midas, we try to learn from. Okay. So someone is righteous in our own eyes, and we try to learn with that person. Okay. So it says today we learn to connect with the wise. Okay, but is a wise at least in this midah that a person had the same challenge as we are, maybe bigger, and he or she overcame it. So that's the person to consult with. Okay, so that's good. So far, so good. And we spend the time with that person, try to learn Torah together. So far, so good. Okay. Right, and we realize the study is not productive. So we need to understand why it's not productive. If you read from the book and you read the commentary and you try to discuss things, what exactly it says there. So we need to see why it's not productive. Due to the personality and learning style differences, which makes us quite frustrated. So meaning, right. So our sages say in the Talmud, to find yourself a chavrusa is as hard as almost to find shidduch. Right? And Rav Yochanan, when Reish Lakish died, so he went crazy. I don't know if you know the story. So he was walking on the street and he was crying, Reish Lakish, where are you? Right? And sages send him the different chavrusas, say on the same level of Reish Lakish, but he rejected all of them. Right? He said so he was starting learning together, and this Rav Yochanan says so what do you think? And they say you're right, you're right, what Rav. He said, I don't need you to agree with me. So if I say something, for sure I'm right. In my mind I'm right. I don't need that. I need your confirmation that I'm right. I need you to challenge me from all of the direction to probe my my ideas. Maybe they're not right, and Reish Lakish would attack me from the 7 directions, right? And only then, when I was able to refute all of them, so I will see, I would understand that I'm right. Otherwise, your agreement is not going to help, and he could not find himself chavrusa, and after some times, he died simply. So it's not so simple just because a person has a free time at your time slot as you are, so that is going to be compatible. Absolutely not. It's not such an easy thing. Just so we know, to find the learning partner that same schedule, same mentality, same hashkafa. It's not so simple. I mean, it's possible. But to think that it's going to work out just because a person decides I agree to learn with it does not mean that it's going to be compatibility. So we have to be very clear about it. Okay. So that again does not mean that there's something wrong with either of us or of you. Okay. Style difference. So we have to agree before we start on some styles. So how are we going to read? So for example, if there is a book with a commentary, so you say, look, today, so we started twice a week. Just to make an example. So on Monday, you read text and I'm going to read commentaries. And on Wednesday, I'm going to read, you're going to read the text, and I'm going to read the comments, or vice versa. That doesn't matter. So meaning you always alternate. So and then we discuss, and then we discuss the things. So, but these things must be discussed before. Otherwise, as it says. Different styles, and people can get frustrated. Some people like to talk. They like to express their ideas, and sometimes you'll feel that these ideas, this expression, has nothing to do with the topic in hand. Look, let's continue. I'd like to cover ground, to use idea very, very precious, but I'd like to continue see what Rabbi said from 800 years ago. You with your knowledge is very precious, but I want to hear from him, or from commentary. So I mean, your part was to read commentary. So your ideas is very good. Let's cover the thing. Let's cover the topic and then discuss. So sometimes somebody asked me the question. I say I don't have an answer. I don't have enough information, right? So let's cover the topic completely and then go back and see review, and then we can exchange the ideas. But guess what is right, what is wrong in the middle of the topic is childish to say the least. Unless people are very learned and it's like topic from different books that they already covered. So that's very important. Very, very important topic. Okay, personal style difference, which make quite frustrated. Okay, because a person is not thinking in similar ways as we do, right? Okay. We worried that it would become proud. We would become proud through the learning together. So meaning, for example, the person A gets helps the idea much faster than the person B. Can become proud. Okay, sure. However, we unexpectedly become more patient and more forgiving. Should we continue learning with this person? I mean, if patience and forgiveness is a very positive trait. So if you will learn from another person, train them to be patient, there is no problem. I think it's very precious. And an explanation, the study is not productive because the person is easily distracted, and it turns out to be us monologue and repeat the same concept. Okay. Okay. I mean, I would not guess. Okay. When we try to see if the person understands, we throw in completely non-relevant idle chatter. They throw in completely non-relevant idle chatter. But sometimes when reading more ideological concept like Kuzari, we end up to understand the idea deeper when explaining things repeatedly. Okay, so let's try from the beginning. So we said, what's the problem with this chavrusa? So we start. So this chavrusa is like has this attention deficit, right? Disorder. Side is not productive because the person easily distracted and turns out to be as monologue and repeat the same concept. So that there is no problem. That's how person learns things to repeating the same concept over and over again. So and the more you repeat, one time you repeat for yourself, and 3 other times you repeat for that person. The more times you repeat, the more likely that you're going to understand what it says, the more likely that you're going to memorize. So you're doing only for your own benefit, and plus for the benefit of another person. Right, but if you know that a person is easily distracted, don't throw like unrelated questions. Right, to start try to stay on topic. Right, try to explain as clear as possible. Right, right as explain as clear as possible, and from right. So and just look at the person, like you chavrusa and say continue. So meaning do you understand? Don't ask if the person understands. So make the person be very open. So if a person does not understand, so they want to go back and review again, there is no problem. They're going to tell you, right? It's absolutely no problem, right? It's proper. So you benefit, and that person benefit, and I may benefit. How I remember these things because I go over the same material many times, right? That's and repeating things. Some people say you go like the same material. I say I benefit, right? I'm not doing anybody a favor. Other people, as Rabbi Lev says, I'm reading myself to myself, and you happen to be there. So thank you very much for audience. Otherwise, I would be bored. I would go to sleep. So yeah. So that's we have to see these things of us repeating the same things. It's for our own benefit. And of course, we try to help the other person. But sometimes when reading a more ideological concept like Kuzari, that one understand the deeper idea when explaining things repeatedly. I mean, these things are the very deep concept. Even this Orchos Tzaddikim, he reads it's written in a very high poetic, like a simple language, very simple words, but very deep insights. Right, so don't be fooled by saying simple wording, right? So the more time you go over, so me personally, I went over the second or the third time of this text. Third time, yeah. Third time, and that's why and every time I go over the same concept, the more clear it to me. Right, even though you thought that you remember first time, but people forget. Unfortunately, we forget. The only way for us to retain information, you repeat over and over. That's our approach. So again, only you benefit. Continue. More clarification. We all try to focus on the topic, but the person would not tell us they do or do not understand themselves, but throw a topic like a pet or food. Okay, throwing topic. Okay, we're worried that our thinking and study style would intimidate the person and feel bad to study with them, and they seems to not understand. Hence, we explain. I mean, try to stop this off topic, right? And just ignore the question. And people who don't have this good concentration, that easily distracted, very easily. So since they can distract themselves with this unrelevant question, so you can distract themselves to point themselves back into this discussion. So just ignore the questions, right? It's because it's not proper to stop our discussion and turn to a irrelevant topic. It says in the Talmud, the person, I think it's from Avodah Zarah, so a person who stops his learning and stop idle chatter, he's going to be fed. He's going to be fed burning coals, right, in the Gehenom. Right, you had this book open, this holy wisdom open, and then you were talking about the pet food or something, right? Is it going to rain tomorrow? Is it going to rain on Monday? Today's Wednesday. Like, who cares about Monday, right? But anyway, even Monday is a very important day. But still, you understand? So people are people. But when you try to correct this person, I think that this person is going to benefit, and you're going to benefit. Again, the more time the more time that you explain, the more time you learn the topic, the better you know the topic. And the better you know the topic, the better you can be would be able to draw the conclusion and compare things. Right. So when you learn yesterday, like from different books, that's helped very much. Right. And it says in Talmud when two chavrusas or two old sages met, and he said, "You remember in the Cheder where we learned this topic?" He said, "Oh yeah, I remember." So he said, "I went over this for 101st time." He said, "How was it?" He has nothing to compare with the 100th time. You understand? We're talking about great sages, and still they go over the same topic 100 times, and it was nothing to compare to the 101 to 100th time. Right? So we have to only see as a benefit. If somebody allows us to repeat the information twice, or 3 times, or 7 times, right? We have to be grateful. Right? So if a person does not indicate understand or not, so you continue, right? Try to speak with simple words. And see, by the facial expression, many times you would be understand that the person understand or not. Okay, so next question. Should chavrusas be more or less on the same level of knowledge in brain sharpness? And this Rav mentioned shidduch as well. Should a couple be more or less on the same level intellectually speaking too? Torah. Okay, so let's do the first part. So chavrusas be on more or less same level of the knowledge of brain sharpness. So I would say, for our personal advantage, it's proper for us to have a chavrusa that's sharper than us, right? You need a person who is going to explain to me if I do not understand, right? If he's going to be on my level, he's going to understand exactly what I understand. So it's not very productive. Of course, we're trying together. It's productive still, but if possible, to get somebody who is more knowledgeable than you. But sometimes this person is not available, and sometimes Hashem wants us to learn with somebody who's on our level, so we have to break our heads. And I have the chavrusa like this in my Talmud learning, right? One is like a lower level, but one on the same level. And sometimes we have to read a few times the same subject, 5 times, whatever times. It doesn't matter how many times until we understand. Right, but of course, I would prefer if I have somebody much more knowledgeable than I, and in case of the need, I would ask that person a question, tough situations. Right, but for example, maybe for Mussar it's not so relevant, but for a Talmud when it's like a different concept, and like it's not about concept. Concept we can understand, but sometimes where the sages is coming from, like why would he say it so? And sometimes even you read Rashi, you read article explanation. It's even you read word to word 5 times. It's still not clear. So meaning what? So I need somebody who learned this part and learn other parts, and he, based on his information, breadth of knowledge, he can help me, right? Because it connects to this part and that part. So it's of course it's beneficial, but if we cannot get somebody like that, so we work with whoever is available. You understand? So and it's plus a person have multiple chavrusas. So if you see that this chavrusa is very weak and they are not you're not progressing, but you feel like obligated, like it's in some sense, right? So you can do one time a week learning, right? 45 minutes, 1 hour. That's it, and learn with others more. There is no contradiction. There is no limit how many chavrusas you can have. Right, and the second part of the question. Since the Torah mentioned the shidduch as well, should a couple be more or less on the same level intellectually speaking? To, I mean, could be on the same level, could be not on the same level. I mean, it would not be proper if a woman would be too intellectual compared to men. So she would treat him as somebody inferior. So it's also not good. So in this case, is a woman very intellectual, so it's proper for men to be on a par. But if she's not as much and she's into, I don't know, like taking care of the kids and taking care of the house, and he's more in learning Torah, she does not, she's not his chavrusa, she's not his body. If he wants to learn with her, like he can learn with her simpler things, right? There is no problem. If they're on the same level, they can learn together much deeper things. But again, there is no such obligation, right? But chavrusa is much more, of course, right? So again, so it's like it's not proper for a man to marry a woman for her money, for example, right? So she comes from a richer family. Right, it's not a good idea, because everything, whatever he has, is going to they say it's belong to their family, right? And plus, if she's more intellectual, sometimes women would put their husbands down, unfortunately, right? So continue. I have been wondering why Rabbi Yochanan did not revive the Reish Lakish. So one from Rabbi Yochanan that all sages could revive the dead. So, and it's a very good question. It says the sages explained to us that if the sage is mentioned by his name in a Talmud, it means that his minimum spiritual level, that he would be able to revive the dead. So right, so here he was able to do it. So why he didn't do, right? Why did he not do it? So it's a very good question. So the answer is very simple. Yeah, even you have this power, so you cannot go against Hashem's will, right? Hashem decided that this person must go, right? His time came for whatever reason. According to calculations of Hashem, and that's it. So we have to accept it. And same question we can ask if he can keep his mother alive until she's 700 years old or something. No, it's not going to work out, right? So if a person's time came, a person must die. So don't intervene in Hashem's plans, right? But we see like a few times only in the whole Talmud when these sages revive somebody. One famous example, when it was in a Purim, they drank a lot, and one killed another guy. So they were so drunk, and then they came and said, "Yeah, you he said, how is my friend?" So, Rabbi, you serious? You killed him last? I kill him. Yeah, we bury him. You bury him. So I like dig him out, and then he revived him. Right. So it was like exceptional situation, but on other case, of course, they asked like our sages discussed, or did he really kill them, or like it's like was a parable, like it's like right, but still, let's say that the most accepted opinion, like straightforward, understand that he actually revived him, but that's it. So right, so that's the answer. So we don't go against Hashem. Hashem said it's his time is up. His time is up. Okay, so meaning that like in the world of Hashem, everything is calculated to the T, like precise calculations. Okay, so next question. Okay, so I think we can stop here. So we're on. Let me check. 9 hours and 2 minutes. Okay, 9 hours and 2 minutes. Have a few breaks, Baruch Hashem, but still, I think it's very, very good. And we stop because I need to get ready to go to shul soon. Right, that was Hashem. So thank you very much for learning. And tonight is a holiday, so that's Ashana Rabbah, which is today is very important holiday. It's like the last appeal. So the last appeal, and it's actually today is the last day to do tashlich. So if somebody did that to tashlich next to the water, so that's what we must do. Today is the last day. But otherwise, there's Ashkenazic style. We wish each other good kvittel. Good kvittel is like a ticket, like a good writing. So when you get your judgment, right? So it's written on some piece of paper, let's say. So that's what we wish each other. That's Hashanah Rabbah. So in Hashanah Rabbah we have the old custom to learn the whole night. Not everybody do it, but we did it. Baruch Hashem. So thank you very much. Good night. Have a good Yom Tov, good holiday until Monday. Beezrat Hashem. Thank you.